Hello, this is Sandy Grayson, and today I have a very special guest, Mr. Jigar Shah. Welcome to the Stardo Warehouse Studios.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for dropping by, we really appreciate it. So I got a chance to read a sneak peek of your upcoming book, which is called The Impact Economy. Should be out early next year. And you know, everybody wants to know about how you became so successful, and you talk a lot about the technology and the energy and the stuff that you're known for. But I want to talk a little bit about your personal philosophies. What would you say? How would you sum up your business philosophy?
Well, I think in terms of managing people and in terms of business, you know, I think you should treat people the way you want to be treated, right? I just find this notion of you have to be mean and you have to be nasty and vicious to get ahead in the world to be ridiculous. Look, I mean, I'm tough with people when they need feedback, and I believe that people should have honest conversations with folks and not, you know, sugarcoat what's going on. But at the same time, I just think people should be friendly to each other.
So you don't think you have to be an asshole to be successful?
Exactly. I guess I would say you don't have to be a dick.
That's awesome. No, I agree. I think that the more successful people that I've interviewed are always the nicest and the most accessible. I'm going to read this quote to you. Life has a strange and wonderful way of working itself out. At the time, verses of the Serenity Prayer came back to me, living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, and accepting hardship as the pathway to peace. Tell me a little bit about that philosophy.
Well, you know, I think that there are different philosophies around entrepreneurship. Some people say you just need to be a hard-charging, you know, just like follow your dream no matter what. Any barriers that come in the way, just bowl them over, right? And you know, I mean, to some degree I would agree with that. But when you work in an industry like I do, which is electricity, right? It's not a greenfield industry where if you started Facebook, they didn't have any competitors at the time, right? Sure, there might be some people who were saying nasty things about you, but you didn't have any competitors. I mean, I wake up every morning with a government-authorized competitor in the monopoly utility company. So there are a lot of things I can't change. I find that sometimes people spend an inordinate amount of their energy working on things they really can't change, as opposed to focusing their efforts on things you really can change, right? And even those things you can change are difficult and they're hard and they require persistence. But at least you know that you have a shot.
Were you always at peace with it? I kind of have this vision of you as a 16-year-old boy meditating and being very at one with the sun and the universe. Was there a time in your life when you did wake up like ready to just, you know, fight it out?
I mean, you know, when you're young, you think you can change the world, and, you know, and some of us have, but I think that, you lack the appreciation for time, right? You know, some things just happen in the course of time. You know, you can't just make it happen next week. It happens 4 months from now. I didn't get that perspective until later. And that, I think, is where the real peace comes from, is to know that you've done what you need to do to accomplish your goal. Now you sort of have to let the universe catch up with you.
Let's talk a little bit about karma. So that's part of your philosophy, which I joke about it all the time, you know, that there is karma, and what you put out in the world comes back to you. How has that contributed to your life and to your business? I
have a very large diversity of friends, many of whom, you know, enlisted in the military, many people who decided to like go into blue collar jobs, etc. And I learned at an early age that it's all good, right? That like all of those people are awesome and they're all doing great stuff. And I'm no better because I'm sitting with you than anyone else who's just, you know, working every day to take care of their 3 children. Is there any one thing, if there was an entrepreneur out there who's still in the middle of the struggle and really wants it to happen tomorrow and it's not happening, is there a best piece of advice that you could give, or some words of wisdom that someone gave you that you'd like to make sure that they understand? Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple things. One is that I think that people believe that they can be really, truly successful without sacrificing. And I find that to be ridiculous. I mean, people like sort of and like, or maybe they don't think that they have to do real sacrifice. Like for them, like going without like buying $1,000 suit is a sacrifice, right? I mean, if you have not experienced hunger for one meal, you have not sacrificed enough. Like there were days when I didn't have enough money to know whether I could buy lunch that day. Not because I was broke, my parents always had money and I could have called them up and got it. But like I didn't have money in my pocket that day to like buy lunch, and I had to like figure out a way to like make it through because I wanted to be a self like starter, etc. Every successful entrepreneur I know has gone through that. If you haven't sacrificed that much, then you don't want it enough. And if you don't want it enough, you're not going to be successful.
Well, I can't wait to read your book. I hope you'll come back and visit Stardo during the book launch, and we can make sure everybody out there gets a copy of The Impact Economy, right?
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Good luck with it.
Thanks
so much for coming and hanging out with us.
This was fun.
Cool. Thanks. This is Sandy Grayson for Stardo TV.